What's going on, you guys? So, check it right. With Zoocci Coke Dope dropping Current State of Mind 5, he managed to express his viewpoints and how he feels when it comes to his situation with Vaughn and Stay Low. But with every story, there's always two sides, and I think it's only fair that I share Vaughn's perspective on the matter. So check out what he had to say on the Sobering podcast.
Now, interesting, Love, like you listed all of the artists that you have on Stay Low currently, right?
Yeah.
And all the partners that you've had the deals with. But at the top of mentioning those artists, you didn't mention Zoocci. You know, is he still part of the Stay Low conglomerate, or is he one of the people that said, I'm not ready? And said,
so Zoocci's actually still signed to the label.
Yeah.
We have terminated Zoocci on a management level. So we're not managing Zoocci anymore. So like anything that's got to do with bookings and so forth, it's going directly through his own setup. But on a label level, I mean, it's a different business arrangement. You know, if you understand how the music business works, bro, if you do label agreements or business agreements, there's a certain amount of deliverables and a certain amount of responsibilities on each side that are obviously agreed to at the time. And there's things that need to be fulfilled. So yeah, there was a fallout, absolutely. Definitely a fallout specifically between him and I. And I think that's just resulted in now a little bit of a situation where he's still signed to us. That's an ongoing conversation and an ongoing business development that we're handling as per the procedure. But on a management level, we both mutually agreed that it wouldn't make sense anymore to be that intertwined on that level, and we just rather just let that one go. But so technically yes, but like from a day-to-day perspective, I might not have mentioned him because obviously I'm not dealing with Zoocci every day. But from a label and from like a release perspective, he's still with the label. Okay.
Can I say, is his contract still in place with you because there's a red tape, a chain of command that you have to go through?
Yes.
As opposed to with Shane, when you guys didn't see eye to eye, you terminated.
Yes, I could just decide. I had the autonomy in that situation. Yeah.
So in this case, you don't have. That's why you.
No, absolutely. So Zoocci's contract is with the business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's signed to the business. Nobody is signed to me individually. Yeah. I'm essentially tasked or employed by Stain Entertainment to head up the label, but the agreements sit with the business and the artist. Yeah. So it's not a personal agreement, no. And that is why I'm saying we might have had an issue, but where the agreement sits is not with this one. You know, so that's a different conversation, and that process has been taking its own course, you know, and it's sort of just something that you have to allow to happen. It's an unfortunate part of the music business. I think my advice to anybody getting into the music business as an artist, even as a businessman, it's what I go back to. It's just guys, it's fundamental to understand how business works, how contracts work, how important it is to review contracts, to understand what's going on in contracts. It's very important to understand that contracts are the basis of the relationship. When there's a fallout, you refer back to the contract. When you've agreed on a fundamental non-emotional contract, and you have a relationship fallout, which is usually the house you build on top of the foundation of the contract. If this house falls apart, let's revert back to the foundation, and then just see
abide by that.
Who's wrong and who's right. Because when it's over there, because remember at that time we made that decision with no emotions.
Yeah.
So that's a good place to revert back to, and that's what's great about contracts, and that's what the fundamental issue is in the current industry, because I don't think people understand exactly how that works and understand how value and exchange work.
Now, Vaughn mentioned quite a few things in regards to his relationship with Zoocci. Firstly, that he isn't signed to Stay Low on a management level, but he is still signed to the label itself. Secondly, that with Zoocci still being signed to the label, Vaughn mentioned that there's a certain amount of deliverables and responsibilities that were agreed upon and need to be fulfilled by both parties before they can go their separate ways. Now, thirdly, he also mentioned that there was a fallout they had, which is probably the contract situation. I mean, Zoocci claimed that he never signed any papers, masters, giving away his publishing, but that conversation still seems like it's still up for debate. And I only say that because Vaughn also mentioned that Zoocci being signed to the label is an ongoing conversation and business development, which is being handled with the necessary procedure. Now, with Zoocci being signed to Stay Low, he kind of insinuates that despite being the head of the label, he has no say or control with whether Zoocci is still signed, but rather the contract that was agreed upon comes down to Zoocci and Stay Low, the business. So hypothetically, let's say Vaughn wanted to accommodate Zoocci and give him what he wants, while he still couldn't because it's technically out of his hands. Now lastly, Vaughn emphasized that it's important that artists and businessmen who want to enter the music industry understand how business works, how contracts work, how important it is to review contracts, and that contracts are the foundation of a relationship, because when there's a fallout, you can always revert back to the contract and determine who's right and who's wrong. So I do find it interesting that Vaughn focused on speaking about contracts when it came to Zoocci, but on Current State of Mind 5, Zoocci made it clear that he signed no contracts in terms of the label owning him and his publishing. Now, I'm not sure how many contracts were written up, because it seems like there was an agreement between Piff Audio and Stay Low for a partnership. There was an agreement for Stay Low to manage Zoocci, which he managed to get out of, and an agreement, or not so much, when it came to Stay Low having the rights for Zoocci's catalog. All I'll say is that it's definitely a situation for the lawyers, and with someone's livelihood being at stake in the middle of this, while hopefully everything gets resolved soon enough. But you guys, let me know your thoughts on this. What do you make of Vaughn's perspective on the matter? And in hindsight, do you think it holds some truth? Comment down below. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to hit that like button if you found the content dope, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's on to the next one. Peace.